West Denver.
Well, it's 6 a.m. in the Mile High City on this Friday, June 20th, 2025. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. And Bill, a little special howdy to my friends over at V in Highlands Ranch.
Hey.
Got a chance to visit with them yesterday. I spoke at what's called the Tusk Club.
The Tusk Club.
The Tusk Club. That is the Republican gathering at
I like that. I see. So, the elephant thing. Okay, I like that. I'm sitting there, I was wondering, like, Tusk Club? Like, a big game enthusiast?
Shared the stage with the Congresswoman from Congressional District 4. Lauren Boebert was there as well.
Oh, that's so nice.
And Lauren says hi to you.
Oh, hello. She's so nice.
She always talks about how she loves coming on the show and getting a chance to interact with us, and she always has fun with you as well.
Oh, yeah. We found a nice rhythm. It's great. It's great, and I appreciate her giving us all the time. So yeah.
And the folks there, wonderful. I mean, just the kindest, nicest people.
Oh yeah, that is a wonderful community.
I gave a speech on the protests that are happening downtown almost on a weekly basis, how they're shifting, and the three groups that make up that the protest larger group. And I've made the argument that you have the boomers. These are people that have built the institutions like Medicaid, Social Security, college for everybody, all that stuff, and they don't like what Trump and Musk did to those institutions. So they're what I would call institutionalists.
Yeah.
Now, where they've missed it, with especially the next generation, millennials and Gen Z and those people coming up, is that the institutions aren't quite working so well for them. You know, they're leaving college with a lot of debt. It's harder than ever to move up economically. They're not able to purchase a home.
Yeah, are the institutions fulfilling the promise they were created for?
Yeah. So older generations go, no, we built these great institutions. Donald Trump, Elon Musk, what are you doing? And then younger people going, well, they're not working out so well for us.
I don't know why you love these things, right? Yeah, that's great.
So that was group number one. Group number two, college-educated white suburban women who go down there and protest out of, from my perspective, a sense of guilt that's been generated through years of Marxist education in high school and colleges that tell them that white people are the oppressors. And so they're kind of motivated out of that. And then third, Antifa and the more violent crowd. So that was the gist of my speech. But we had a great time. Big fans of the show. People that listen regularly, every morning, listening right now, they told me.
Oh,
so
good morning.
They love you, Bill. Everywhere I go, it's Bill.
Like, can we hit him now? Can you hold him while we kick him? I'd say hello to all the wonderful people there. I have a real heart for the retirement community, and this is over the course of, I've got some random experiences over things that I have done that has allowed me to work with the retirement community and do things in and out of retirement homes. And now, of course, my mom in a retirement home. So it's something that is very special to me, and I understand that community, and I know V. I know the facility.
It's the Ritz Carlton. Retirement community.
Ladies, you're doing well.
I'm looking around going,
good job.
When can I move in?
I know. I'm like, I stand there going, if I just pretend, can I, it's a wig or something? I just, I don't know.
You're close. You're close.
I'm getting close.
Gray hair.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to get blown off.
You would be the catch, man.
Oh, yeah, because I'd be the young one. Is you the young kid? Going around the retirement, fresh meat. That'd be the thing. I'm horrible. Yeah, but hey, we appreciate the ladies waking up this morning with us. And
thank you to fantastic. Judy Merkel and Dick, her husband, who hosted
wonderful.
me and put the whole thing together. Lauren and I had a great time. Lauren gave a great update, doing a lot of work on water right now. water retention so we're not losing all of it out the ocean into California. That's important for the eastern plains of Colorado so the farmers and ranchers can get that.
That's
so
fantastic.
Gave a great update on the work that she's doing. It's fun to see her as well.
I got to say, I don't know if this is a plus or a minus, but I don't get asked to go and do those kind of speeches. Oddly enough, one, because they've listened to the show. Two, I don't belong to a party, so there's no group that I'm affiliated with, so nobody wants me to come and be the rah-rah cheerleader. I get invited to no pep rallies, which, again, I didn't like going to the pep rallies as a high school kid, so I'm okay with this. I'm okay. It's a great thing, but I'm glad that you get out there and get to do it. You're wonderful at it, and yeah, more organizations should bring you out. But good morning to the ladies out at the V. That's fantastic.
Great.
In fact, they spend their day with us.
Great to be there.
So cool.
Blake Olson will not be joining us today. He's out on assignment with a different project, so we'll get him
a sports
next
project.
week.
He may talk to us about it if he has the ability to on Monday. But it's a really cool sports project that he's off doing. Might get some updates on that. But yeah,
we can give a little preview. It includes being a bodyguard to Caitlin Clark right now.
Yes. He's going to exercise his black belt. Yes.
He's out there on the court now.
Yeah, exactly. So
we got a lot to talk about today. Bill and I are going to cover the transgender U.S. Supreme Court case. And what does this mean for Colorado? Should Colorado abandon its transgender extremism, especially as it involves harming minors? After the Supreme Court case, we'll discuss that coming up here. Matt Lamb from the College Fix is going to join us on this interesting issue coming out of the University of Colorado. There's a group up there called the Boulder Black Blossoms. It's a group at the university's Office of Graduate Access and Retention that aims to support the lived and individual experiences and achievements of black women. Participants in Boulder Black Blossoms receive a $1,000 stipend. The program is currently accepting applications for the upcoming academic year. Question, though, does this violate civil rights law? Well, there's a complaint that's been filed. We'll talk to the College Fix about what's happening up at CU. And then we're going to be joined by the championship manager of the U.S. Senior Open to give us a preview of that a little bit later. Jeff Hildebrandt, some cowboy poetry, plus all the latest on Iran and Israel taking place. But Bill and I were talking just prior to the show starting, and you...
How we get you into documentary holes.
Yeah, we get into documentary. My wife and I spent 2 hours on Ocean Gate last night.
Interesting.
Which is that little submarine that collapsed going down to watch the Titanic. And, I mean, there were so many problems running up to this.
What were the things that surprised you when you were watching?
Discovery had gone to do a whole show about him.
Yeah.
And then they actually got in the sub and toured around outside of Seattle where it was. And nothing worked. Nothing worked.
No, seriously.
And so the guy that did the documentary calls the president of Discovery. He's like, I know we put a lot of money on this. I don't want to be affiliated with this thing at all.
Really?
This thing is junk.
No way.
This was 2 years before the collapse.
Oh, my goodness.
So it was one of those things that where it didn't just happen and everybody was shocked. Yeah. There was an entire journey of failure. They had a previously made hull that cracked under carbon fiber, and they just remade another carbon fiber hull. Like the whole thing was a mess. It didn't even. It barely worked.
Yeah.
And they sold it as working. The guys that worked on the subs.
Yeah.
Paid to be there to work on the subs. They were not paid by the company.
Seriously?
They were guys that were there because they wanted the adventure, so they paid for it.
They paid to work on the...
Yeah.
Again, that's fairly
it would be
genius
Bill,
as far as...
It would be like you going, I would really like to be on this adventure. I'll pay to be a mission specialist.
Wow.
No experience.
Not being a mission specialist, just paying to... Wow.
This thing was a disaster entirely.
I'm just saying that this is just... I'm spitballing here, and we'll get to the phone call in a second. Hang on there and on hold. I'll get to you in a sec. I'm just thinking, okay, while it went really bad with Ocean Gate, I think there is a local opportunity here. we've got a really bad baseball team. Do you think we could pay to get experience to play on the major league team? I mean, do you think maybe the Rockies could raise a little bit of money?
Do better?
Yes,
They
exactly.
seem to
The
be
idea
doing
that
fine financially. Apparently.
but again, maybe you could pay to, I could do an inning as a third baseman or something. You can pay. Maybe that's what they need to do, is because they're not trying to actually be a baseball team. Maybe it should just be like a professional sports fantasy camp that you actually get to play in the Major League Baseball league in a Major League Baseball park, and you'd have this opportunity. And all you have to do is, because they're obviously not trying to win, so why don't we just make this more fun? Why don't we do that? Yeah, and every single inning, they randomly pick a name out of a hat, and that person gets to do at least throw one. They get to pick any position on the field. And that would include pitcher. They can do whatever they want, but just randomly whatever you want. And if someone had paid for that position, it just gets moved to the next inning. I think that's we're just doing this off the fly. So it could go wrong. What
could go wrong?
Yeah, submarine collapse. The team sucks more. But it can't be any worse right now. That's crazy. So what was the biggest shock? What was the thing out of that entire documentary? You're like, wow, I can't believe that kind of a thing happened.
So the pressure collapse. They actually have it on camera.
Yeah.
Not the video of the submarine collapsing,
underwater.
but the crew up above with the radios and everything.
Oh wow, they've actually got that moment.
Yeah. So they're talking, and this is wild.
Yeah.
They hear what sounds like a door slamming.
Really?
And then they go, "What was that?" And then they got a message from the sub.
Yeah.
So it collapsed.
You didn't assume that it was.
It collapsed,
wow.
and then they got a message saying, "We're dropping 2 weights from the sub." The sound traveled faster than the communication did.
Jeez.
Isn't that wild?
That's crazy to think about. And again, they wouldn't think about that at the time. They would think that it would be more chronological.
Yeah, so that's why
they're
like,
it was boom,
they
and then the
didn't
message.
think it was a big deal, right?
Yeah,
They're just like, was that a door slam?
Yeah,
Did
nobody
someone
was doing
check?
the physics. Wow.
No, it was the collapse, but because of the speed of sound traveled faster than the communication got up. That's what happened. Then it crushed them so quickly they didn't even realize what happened. Like, it's faster than your neurological response can happen, but it turned them into soup.
Oh yeah, immediately, because of that pressure. Yeah, there's nothing left.
There was literally like a little piece of the clothing.
Yeah, nothing. Yeah, because the pressure is that. Yeah. Is that one.
It's crazy.
I stumbled into a 38-minute documentary yesterday, and this is the funny thing where this started is we both ended up doing documentaries about the ocean yesterday, and I stumbled into a 38-minute documentary on pilot whales, and that was fascinating. I did not know as much. I do this.
Pilot whales be fascinating?
Because they're not really whales, they're dolphins, and how they hunt together, and they are carnivorous. And they are vicious. They are really one of the only predators in the ocean that orcas will run away from.
Orcas will run away from these things?
Because of pilot whales. In fact, and this is we're talking about the most shocking thing, and then we'll get to news and everything else. And we'll talk to this is the single most shocking thing. I won't go nerd on all the stuff about the pilot whales, but the most shocking thing is they had the scientific study. They were looking at the behaviors of orcas, and they dropped a speaker into the ground, and they started sending out orca calls. Orcas didn't show up. The pilot whales did, to screw with the orcas. They were there to
They're like
all
gangs.
right. Yeah, exactly.
It's like KNUS and Channel 9.
And what they said is, and what shocked the scientist was, hang on, what does it mean inside the ocean that when this species hears not a distress call, but just a communication call from another predatory species that is considered to be one of the alphas, and they go towards it? They, as a group, go towards the other group of dominant predators like, let's do this thing. Yeah, they were like, wow. I was shocked. They are vicious hunters, and they hunt in giant packs, and they're very intelligent about it because they're a form of dolphin. They communicate and coordinate in a way that is crazy to watch. Yeah,
that is wild.
It was vicious, and I had no idea because they look kind of funny.
Yeah, no, they do.
They're not something you would go, oh, I'm scared of that. But yes. And they talked about the number of times that people think that maybe they're attacks of orcas and other things, that probably pilot whales are responsible for a series of attacks.
Do they attack humans?
No, not at all. Not that we know of yet, but they say that there could be some that are attributed to other animals that could be pilot whales. But
Where do they live? In the Pacific or Atlantic Ocean?
Yeah. So they run around, but it's great.
Like in the tropical ones?
I forgot.
Like if you go to Hawaii?
No. I mean, they were around. I forgot exactly I wasn't paying attention as much to, the zones, etc. This was more about the behavior and the patterns and the packs. So this was about familiar behavior.
Did you ever see that Seinfeld
stuff.
bit about watching documentaries about how they get you so emotionally invested?
Oh,
you could be watching the exact same film footage, and one day you're like, if it's about the zebra, you're like, no, zebra, you gotta live.
You've got to.
And then the next day they show, how the cheetah hasn't eaten in a week.
Oh, yeah.
And it needs to feed its family.
Yeah.
And it's the exact same film footage. You're like, this time, get the zebra, cheetah, get it.
Yeah, get it, go. Oh, yeah, I know.
Oh, Bill, we're nerds. Okay.
Yes, we are.
Phone lines are open, 303-696-1971, or text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line. Let's talk advanced hair restoration, guys. If you're losing your hair, desire to have it back, then Advanced Hair Restoration has the easiest guaranteed solution. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results. I've seen it with my own eyes. Guys, it's not magic, but close to it. They put hair where you need it the most, and bam, it grows. It's actually science. Advanced Hair has it all. Top-rated Dr. Tanya Pauls, modern technology, and best of all, you get your own natural hair that begins regrowing the very next day. Advanced Hair even guarantees it will grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now, 720-459-HAIR. If you qualify, you'll get $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. Advanced Hair is the winner of Westward's Best of Denver and has changed the lives of tens of thousands of people. So don't wait. Check out the before and afters online for yourself, 720-459-HAIR or advancedhair.com, 720-459-HAIR or advancedhair.com. I wondered, Bill, if Jack was going to call back.
Yeah,
did you see what Trump said yesterday about Juneteenth?
No, I didn't. I missed that one.
Yeah, he's basically exactly what Jack said.
Yeah.
He's like, we got too many days off. Get to work.
Yeah, I didn't see any real official proclamation, so I didn't see anything.
I think it was a post, but I saw that Trump said that, and I was like, that's what Jack said. And, of course, Jack's calling this morning. Is Jack ready to talk?
Tell you what, why don't we do news? And then we'll go to Jack. Yeah, because I got 2 minutes of news here that I'm letting the video people know that we're going to do news, weather, and then into the commercial break. And then, maybe we'll catch up with Jack. Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. Let's go to news. Billy?
A heat advisory is in effect through Saturday. It is going to be a hot one, 90s to near 100 degrees in Denver today, middle to upper 90s on Saturday, low to mid 90s Sunday. Nights will be in the 60s. It's also going to be breezy, brisk, and sometimes gusty southwest winds. Noticeably cooler, though, by Monday. Highs by Monday only 70s, with thunderstorms returning Sunday night and Monday. Weather, sponsored by Colorado's Best Roofing, reminding you to protect your home from the harsh Colorado weather and schedule your free no-obligation roof inspection today at roofingcolorado.com. That's roofingcolorado.com. Meteorologist Don Day in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Let's go to the phone lines. Jack's joining us. Good morning, Jack.
Morning.
Yeah, you mentioned Trump. That's the best $3,000 I think I ever spent in my life.
Well, so let's remind folks. Yesterday, you called and we were talking about Juneteenth, and you
That's
weren't.
why I'm calling
You
today.
weren't just opposed to Juneteenth. You were opposed to basically these federal holidays that are stopping work. And this is Trump yesterday on Truth Social. He writes, "Too many non-working holidays in America. It is costing our country billions of dollars to keep all these businesses closed. The workers don't want it either. Soon we'll end up having a holiday for every once working day of the year. It must change if we're going to make America great again." Did you see that?
Yeah, the worst part of it is every holiday turns into a 4-day weekend. I mean, it's obscene the way they've cut back on the productivity of a capitalist country with these ridiculous holidays. But that's not why I call it. But it is about Juneteenth, okay? Can I make a comment on Juneteenth, please?
Sure.
Okay, well, I'm a word freak, as you guys all know. But why you could shut down for one day the banks, the post office, the stock market, which is what I spend about 6 hours of my day working with every single day. How could you do that when you've got the 13th, 14th, 15th, 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th? So you could, if you're going to be true to the English language and you're going to have Juneteenth, then you've got to take 17th days off, and then there'll be a whole week of non-productiveness in the country. So I mean, that's just logical. But of course, Democrats have never. Logic is a foreign concept to all of them.
But isn't that illogical based on the reason why it was created, Jack?
The reason why I don't recognize the reason why it was created.
I understand you don't recognize it, but you don't have to recognize the world is round. It doesn't change the reality of it, though. I mean, you can have whatever view you want, but it doesn't change the reason why it was created, regardless of whether or not you don't recognize it. That's irrelevant in the conversation.
Guess what, Billy? Trump agrees with me, not you. Goodbye.
Well, that was quick. Thought you'd be a little bit better at this, Jack. I'm sorry. I mean, again, this isn't about agreement. This is about why it was created. And to be fair, Jack, you talk about, it's Juneteenth, so we've got to have a lot of days. No, it's Juneteenth because it took so long for it to get across the country and different people heard about it on a different day. There wasn't a singular day when all of the slaves that had still been kept for up to 2 years post-Emancipation Proclamation heard about it. That's why it's Juneteenth. That's the reason. They just picked a day. It is illogical, irrational, and ignores the creation of the day and the message behind it when you make the dumb argument about, then we're going to have a week. And then you say that Trump agrees with you? No, he thinks the idea is dumb. That's fine. You can agree the idea is dumb, but that doesn't change the irrational expansion into a week that you did in order to throw rocks at the issue. And I asked you why it was created and why it's called Juneteenth, and you said, I don't agree with it. I don't care.
Do you
it doesn't
think
matter.
Jack
That's
takes a
irrelevant.
Sabbath?
I don't know. I probably not. Probably not. Given how he talks, no. I think that he just wants to work 7 days a week.
I mean, this is an important issue among Christians, is recognizing that God himself rested.
Well, evidently he was weak and not a capitalist, according to Jack. Weakness. What happened to productivity? How many more things could he have done well if he wouldn't have taken that one day off? What a lazy creator we have.
As Christians, it is a form of spiritual discipline, and Jews take Sabbath from Friday night to Saturday night. So I'm going to put both Jews and Christians in this.
Yeah, and Jack thinks
what
lazy.
it becomes is a practice of faith, of going, everything that I've received and everything that's come to me, my career, the finances, all that stuff is a gift from God. It's his, and he asks me, he commands me to take a Sabbath and to keep it holy. So it is an act of faith that, yeah, absolutely. I could continue to put my head down and work. But am I trusting in my own abilities, or am I trusting in God's goodness to care for my life and to then take time to worship him and to serve in a body, a church, community, teach Sunday school, that type of thing? It becomes an act of faith.
Yeah.
And
Yesterday,
it's important to point out God himself.
We were talking about Juneteenth. Jack said, no, he doesn't take a weekend. So that would be a form of weakness in his mind, based on how he presented it to us. I could be putting words in his mouth, but based on what he presented to us on the call, it's a form of weakness. And I disagree with President Trump when he wraps in the idea of, and workers don't want this. What? What? Pardon me? I'm not going to disagree with a whole lot of things, but please Please show me where there is the large swath of workers saying, no, 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 we don't want another day off. I'm open to the idea, but where is that? I can see the business owners. I can see the investors. Sure, absolutely. I can see the argument against productivity. I can see the argument that Jack makes about everything as far as federal offices being closed, not being an inconvenience. I can see and acknowledge all of those arguments being relevant. The workers don't want it? I don't know. I disagree with that, but that's okay. That was a fun call with Jack, though. Surprised he hung up on me. Haven't had that in a while.
That is the best closing argument. If you would like to, please call in, and in the midst of a debate with Bill Thorpe, just go, well, Donald Trump agrees with me, and then hang up.
Yeah. Okay. All righty then. That's okay. And then Donald Trump thinks we can pour water over magnets and it work anymore. So, yeah. Great.
Text messages coming in. Are we going to get poetry today? Yep. Jeff Hildebrand joins us in the 9 o'clock hour for some cowboy poetry. That's always a fun recurring segment we have on Fridays, right as we wrap up the show. Mary from Wyoming texting in, I agree about the number of paid federal holidays. There are too many. Recognize the day, but it doesn't mean a paid day off. Bill, is it...
Yeah.
Would your kids come to terms with the fact that as you become adults, the whole summer off thing dissipates?
Oh, it's awful.
And they just look at you with a little bit of pity and sadness that that's coming their direction too. You get 2 weeks off a year.
Oh, yeah. If that sometimes.
Right.
Yeah. And that's the idea is, and the thing is, I understand that people are talking about, the 1 day and the loss of productivity. There are other industrialized nations that have way more time off, way more vacation days.
If you're Italian, you guys take the entire month of August off.
But in certain sectors, their productivity is just fine. You look at some of the, Finland, Norway, Sweden. You look at the Netherlands. They do just fine as far as productivity. Yet they have many, many, many more days off than we do. So the idea that because of this 124-hour cycle that we're losing out on all of this productivity, I just disagree with. And we take fewer vacations and holidays than most other industrialized nations. So again, I just disagree with that. But yes, my kids have been scared about that. However, remember that of the ones that are of working age, there's one that is actually taking summer classes right now, and the other two work in the education system. So they're off right now. They actually do get a summer break. It's not as long. It's only about 5 weeks rather than the 3 months, but they get a summer break. In fact, both of them are on summer break right now. And this is what makes me mad at my house, is when they start celebrating. Oh, 1 more days, and then we have vacation. And I just turn around, I'm like, shut up. I'm not even going to. I threw a grape at one of them the other day. Just because.
You chose a career that they'll just fire you on the spot.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah. There's a time, There's a time where, have that Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the idea of where you're choosing the chalice. A time I look back and I go, there's a point where I chose poorly based on certain things. If I wanted lots of vacation days, etc., I chose the one industry when you're expected to work on the holidays. Yeah, that was a surprise when I researched the law and figured, no, because radio stations are expected to be on, they don't have to pay you holiday pay. That's a federal law. So, yeah, we don't get holiday pay if we work on the holidays. They just have to pay us the regular amount when you're working and you're in this business as an hourly worker. That sucks. That's a surprise. You don't even get the benefit of holiday work.
5631 Bill, many of those workers on the lowest rungs don't get paid holidays. It's lost income.
But if it's a federal holiday, they have to cover it.
Oh.
Yeah, that would be the thing. And so that's the idea is, and again, so, and then it can be lost income depending on where you are. And if, again, it's lost income if you're part-time, of course. That would be the idea, is you would have to. That's why our company here gives us a floating holiday. We don't get Juneteenth off, but they give us a floating because they have to as far as the federal rules and regs. So, yeah. But if you're part-time, absolutely you miss out on it. But you miss out on it anytime the business is closed if you're a part-time worker and you're not getting all sorts of other benefits. So, yeah. But that's part of why you want to be full-time, is because you get the benefits of having vacation and health care and the other stuff that you get. Yeah. Yeah.
There you go. All right, let's talk L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. They work all the time. They came out to our house one day on a Sunday. I didn't even ask. I was like, we can wait till Monday. Like, no, we'll swing by.
And the best thing is no emergency fees or trip calls. So the idea is they work 24 hours a day, 365 days a year for you. And if something goes wrong, they're ready.
Yeah.
They are. They're not
there.
going to say, "Oh, sorry, it's Juneteenth," like Jack was saying. They're not going to do that to you. And the best thing about it is, if you call them on that holiday, they're not going to charge you extra to rush out to your home
sorry, it's
and work with you.
Juneteenth.
Yeah, you're not going to do that. They'll
We're
be
down
there.
at 5 points today.
Yeah, exactly.
L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. Love these folks. 1-day installation, no stress. They came out when our AC and furnace were really having problems. They were builder grade, been put in when whoever built the house. We're like the third owners of it. So it wasn't working. We talked to a number of different companies. L&L Heating and Air Conditioning delivered for us. Like I said, came out 1 day, no stress, personal service from start to finish. Our home finally comfortable no matter what the weather. L&L Heating and Air Conditioning gave us peace of mind. Here's the deals they got going on right now. Free programmable thermostat or carbon monoxide detector with new furnace or air conditioner installation. No emergency charges, a $0 trip fee, price match value guarantee on equipment, free estimates, licensed and insured, and a 5-year labor warranty. Everything works great. Our family couldn't be happier. So if you're looking for fast, honest, and reliable service, I highly recommend L&L Heating and Air Conditioning, 720-851-1691. Online at bestdenverhvac.com, bestdenverhvac.com. I'm sure glad we called them, 720-851-1691. It's still rattling around in my head. I hope this becomes a new thing.
Yeah.
That if you're in the midst of a debate with Bill, just claim, Donald Trump agrees with me, and hang up.
It does end the conversation. That is rather effective. I will give Jack that much. Yeah.
There you go. All right, we'll continue. Phone lines are open. Give us a call, 303-696-1971. Text us on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS. It's now your turn to hang up on me.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. 8913 texting in. I voted for President Trump and would never vote Democrat, but when he says dumb things about the holiday comment, tons of people were still working. But I did mess up a payroll because of the stupid midweek bank holiday. I think that's probably why they put it, most holidays on like a Friday, because the bank was the bank closed yesterday? Was the stock market closed
oddly
yesterday?
enough, yes. And ask me how I know the bank was closed.
Yeah.
Because phenomenally stupid decisions on my part. Now, here's the idea. There's got a number of other part-time gigs. There's a contract gig that I've got, and they need some information from me about banks so they can send the money to me. I've sent them the information already. It's not an informational issue. It's a formatics issue. It's a, no, we need to have this on this type of piece of paper, and it has to look like this. But you're going to take it from the piece of paper, right, company, and put it into the computer system? Yes. So why does the formatics of me sending it to you? Did you already have the stuff? You can just move it. Doesn't matter. Give us the piece of paper we want. Alrighty. So I have to go to the bank and get them fill out this piece of paper. And it's not even electronic deposit form. Not even that. This is a stupid thing they want me to do separately, which is dumb. And so I'm having to go back to the bank to get it because they had to prepare it. So I showed up at the bank yesterday, not remembering that you and I had talked about Juneteenth earlier in the day. That's how bright I was. I had done enough things during the day. I came back in the afternoon
without having to shut everything down.
Yeah.
And maybe that's part of where you balance this all out. Like Cinco de Mayo, the Mexicans don't even celebrate Cinco de Mayo. It's a random Americanized excuse to eat tacos and drink margaritas. Yeah. But everybody loves it.
Yeah. But
everybody loves it. But do we need it to be a federal holiday?
Should 4th of July then be a federal holiday? Should we all go to work on the 4th?
Yeah.
So, I mean, is it? Yeah, should we go to work?
Should it be a federal holiday?
Yeah, and should we go to work? Because if we don't have Juneteenth, should we go to work on the 4th? What about, I mean, that's the idea is if we're saying that, well, we're not going to have this one and we should be able to celebrate holidays and
I just
not
can't
have
believe
these.
the stock market was closed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, here's the thing, though, is that...
I mean, I'm okay celebrating Juneteenth. I don't think the issue itself is bad at all. I think it's great to celebrate the end of slavery. But to shut down the stock market over that one? Wow.
Yeah, I just look at, they're doing just fine. They'll be just fine. It's okay.
Maybe I'm starting to come over onto Jack's side, but I'll just claim Donald Trump agrees with me in this conversation at this point.
So we'll go to commercial break. Oh, it's fantastic.
Right now, Jack, we are clipping that audio, and we'll be using
fantastic.
it moving forward. All
was
right,
really nice.
Bill, let's talk update on Israel, Iran.
Yeah.
Here's the latest. New York Times, world leaders accelerated diplomatic efforts on Friday to end the Israel-Iran war as Iran's top diplomat prepared to meet in Switzerland with senior European counterparts. And President Trump raised hopes for a truce.
Interesting.
Donald Trump, the peacemaker, Bill.
Yeah.
I mean, you are independent-minded.
Yeah.
So do you support this tactic by Donald Trump to try to bring some peace to the situation? Or should he hand Israelis bunker busters and let's finish off Iran?
I don't know, because I'm not certain of his motivations. Is what I'm looking at is this another taco moment? Is this another moment where he's going to talk tough and maybe we will, maybe we'll? No, we're not. Are we going to vacillate back and forth? He likes the idea of unpredictability. The markets don't, but he likes that a lot. And so I feel this is him being unpredictable, just like his statement of, I may decide seconds beforehand, which, okay. Again, we can critique that as much as we want, but I'm cautious and curious. And what we have so far is in his recent past, he was promising that because he had good relationships with Vladimir Putin, that he was going to be able to end the Ukraine-Russia war with a phone call within 24 hours. In fact, during the campaign, he promised that he postulated that he could settle it before Inauguration Day, that it would be done. Well, that didn't happen. And those phone calls didn't happen, and things seem to be dragging out. So his ability so far as a peacemaker is still in question. So, and Iran doesn't like him. So it's not as if he has the same, even close to the relationship he has with Putin and Zelensky. We have a different relationship with Israel, obviously, but
I mean,
that relationship is different.
Would you want him to at least pursue peace? Do you like the fact he's willing to pursue peace right now?
I think it is incredibly smart to pursue peace, because I don't want, much like we talked about in Ukraine, I'm a huge supporter of Ukraine, but I do not want any soldiers or any American weaponry that has our U.S. flag on it involved in the conflict directly, because then we're attacking Russia. We're talking about Russian assets. Same thing here. I don't want anything with an American flag on it that is attacking Iran, because now we are in that conflict. That's the danger part that I feel in this one. And whatever we need to do to affect a secure Israel, but not get the U.S. involved in the war, I'm 110% open to. And if he can negotiate that, that would be fan-freaking-tastic. It would be wonderful. But I'm wondering what that looks like. Is it just okay, sorry, we go back to what we were doing before? Do we have any checks on their nuclear weapon systems? Is there any sort of extra governance? Is it a regime change? What does it look like? So I'm curious about what that piece looks like before I'll say this is a great idea, but I love the idea of doing it.
Here's the question I have to our listeners.
Yeah.
Okay? Do you appreciate Trump's approach right now, calling for a diplomatic solution between Iran and Israel, holding Israel back a little bit, saying don't finish off Khomeini, let's sit down, talk, and figure this out? Or should Trump just empower Israel to cut the head off the snake at this point? Just take it all out the leadership. They've been supporting and funding terrorist activities for decades and decades in this world. Now is the moment. We're 90% there. Finish it off. Let the Iranian people figure it out afterwards. But no reason to put the brakes on now. Breaking news coming in from the New York Times. The Israeli military has said it has identified missiles fired from Iran towards Israel and has called on the public to enter protected spaces. Please say a prayer for the people of Israel this morning, their afternoon, as they're facing more attacks today. Here's the phone line. We'd love to hear from you, 303-696-1971. If you're not able to call in, text in on the Dan Caplis Law text line, 720-819-5115. Join the conversation. You're listening to The Jeff and Bill Show.
This is Denver's Talk Leader, News Talk 710 KNUS.
To the Jeff and Bill Show. Text messages coming in as we discuss Israel and Iran and Trump asking Israel to kind of hold off a little bit. The United States not going to get involved, wants to give a 2-week analysis and space for negotiations to take place. Trump the peacemaker or Trump the appeaser. Text messages now coming in 9588. I was opposed to having a confrontation with Iran. In the process, Israel went in and crossed the line. I was hoping they didn't. However, we are here now. No point turning back. Cut the head off the snake. Ooh, interesting. All right. We'd love to continue to hear from you. 303-696-1971 or text us at 720-819-5115. But it's that time of the morning everybody looks forward to, especially on a Friday, with You Choose the News.
Yes, we'll get to the phone calls here in a second. It is time for the loser edition of You Choose the News, a second shot at glory.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
Loser!
Let's go. Loser! You're a loser!
The Losers Club.
Bunch of losers.
You're such a loser. You made me feel like a loser!
She's a loser.
You are such a loser.
Loser.
Yes, into those stories that both Jeff and Blake felt weren't worthy of our attention earlier this week, they come back for a second shot at glory. But there's a caution this morning. Jeff's flying solo. Yes, Blake is on assignment, so Jeff bears full responsibility for our choices this morning. No pressure, sir. No pressure. And as always, you know how this works. America's favorite fake radio news game show. Silly stories, browse the interwebs, dumb ideas of headlines that I put on the top. So we play this fake radio news game show. Why? Why would we waste time doing this? Because nobody in charge is awake at this hour. Yes, we are left unsupervised, so we're going to take full advantage of the opportunity. Just like you should take full advantage of being unsupervised this weekend. Go out there. Have fun. Rub that oil wherever you want to. I'm just saying.
It's 100 degrees, too.
Yeah. Oh, boy. That's going to be just... I'm going to be moist in all sorts of places I don't want to be moist in. That's just not good. Okay. All righty. Here we go. Jeff Hunt, your choices, sir. Here are our returning stories. Headline number 1. We're reinventing the past. Headline number 2, Stevie Ray Vaughan has questions. Headline number 3, age is just a number. And headline number 4, what are you watching? Mr. Hunt.
Considering the lovely people I hung out with yesterday, age is just a number.
Age is just a number, yes. This is going out directly to those ladies at the V that Jeff hung out with yesterday with Congresswoman Lauren Boebert. Here it is, ladies, a lesson for you. We are traveling to British Columbia this morning, and the closest living relatives of an 84-year-old BC widow is fighting her will in court because of who she left her $1 million estate to. Nobody that is genetically connected to the family. In fact, all of her money and property went to a young professional companion. Yes, a male escort has been given the entire inheritance. Janet Henry executed her final will and testament August of 2021, 3 months before she died, leaving the bulk of her estate to Simon Garston. Yeah. Now, family members of Miss Henry are fighting this in court, saying, dude was paid to be with her. How was this possible? And, well...
It's her money.
Yeah, they're arguing that they had a very special relationship. And the male escort is saying that it was more than just getting naked.
Right.
It was more about connection and time spent. And I know, exactly. Yeah, exactly. They met via online on Skype in February and 2021, met in person for the first time in April. Over the next 6 months, the pair had a number of overnight visits. Now, Garston actually stayed at Henry's home for 3 nights in October. Relatives filed a civil claim over this, but understand that it was August of 2021 when she executed her final will, and they met in person for the first time in April of that year. And they met for the first time ever in February of that year. So from February of 2021 until August of 2021, love blossomed. Or something did, and they had a lot of fun doing it.
It's her money. I mean,
Yeah, I get it, but yeah, it's on. But I see why the family feels aggrieved too, because they're like, but he was being paid to be there to be nice to her, and why do we think that it's going to be
Isn't this just
a genuine
continued
relationship?
prostitution if you put it in your will?
Oh yeah, exactly.
You're still paying for services.
I know you still are. It's well. I think if it's true, he should have to carry like an urn of her ashes around with him everywhere he goes or something. Just saying. Okay. Alrighty. Next choice, sir. We're reinventing the past. Stevie Ray Vaughan has questions, or what are you watching?
What are you watching?
Yeah. What are you watching at the Download Festival? They want you to watch out. Download Festival is a concert that was held just last week, but there were warnings that maybe you should take your watch off. Yes, there was a problem previous years, the Download Festival. People that were wearing smartwatches placed hundreds and hundreds of emergency calls. This happens in England, so it's 999, not 911. But hundreds of emergency 999 calls were coming from smartwatches. Why at the Download Festival? Not from people drinking too much, not for doing too many drugs. It's for jumping in the mosh pit. They were jostling each other around, and the heart rates were getting to a level that they thought everybody was in a crash. So they're getting all these reports of massive crashes at the festival. So they're asking people, you jump in that pit, take off the smartwatch. Final choice this morning, sir. We're reinventing the past, or Stevie Ray Vaughan has questions?
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah, Stevie Ray Vaughan has questions. You remember the No Kings rally that happened last weekend in L.A., but evidently there was a little bit of, for Stevie Ray Vaughan fans, crossfire. LAPD found themselves caught in the crossfire of tear gas and other lethal munitions from the Los Angeles County Sheriff's Department. Yes, during the protest, the Sheriff's Department started shooting at the police department. Back and forth. And it's on the radios where they're calling blue, 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 and they're telling, and yes, they're on either sides of the street.
Oof.
And the Sheriff's Department starts lobbing tear gas over the top at the
Rule number
police.
1.
Yeah.
Don't aim at anything you don't want to kill. And
yeah.
I guess rule number 2 is always check what's behind what you want to kill, too.
Exactly. Oh, boy. Yeah. So that's it. That's the Choose the News. Back to you, sir.
You're listening to Jeff and Bill.
This is KNUS.